She said, come on. So I go back, I go back in her bedroom. So set my stuff down and I'm looking at the door handle. It's turning. I say, homeboy, no, I don't get down like that.
I've never had a white mistress.
Never.
Even my mistresses have been black.
Have you ever had sex with a white woman?
No, I haven't. And not because...
Wait, you've never had sex with a white woman?
And
in life?
No.
Cat Williams said, I'm scared of snow bunnies. He prophesied Shannon Sharpe scandal. Cat Williams said a snow bunny can destroy you in 2 weekends.
DL Hughley just went in on Shannon Sharpe for letting white women get inside his head and inside his wallet. And before you think DL is just hating, you need to watch the latest Club Shay Shay episode that's going viral right now. After seeing how Shannon is still acting ignorant as hell, you will understand exactly why DL said what he said.
You married?
No.
Okay.
I'm looking to get about, I'm about to be 55, I'm about to be double nickel. I was a terrible father. I probably was a terrible brother, a terrible son. I definitely was a terrible boyfriend.
All right, so let's talk about what just happened on Club Shay Shay. Former NBA star Michael Beasley sat down with Shannon to talk about his life and career. And for those who don't know, Beasley is one of the saddest what-if stories in NBA history. The number 2 overall pick could have been a legend, but life hit him differently. Poverty, family pressure, and a whole lot of loss and grief. So, in this interview, Beasley started talking about his mom, who died of cancer in 2018. He explained how he was angry because his mom hid how bad her cancer was to protect him and his siblings. Now watch Shannon's reaction.
That's when we found out my mom was been lying about us about having stage 2 cancer and it was stage 4. Bro, my mom was driving herself to chemo until they put her on hospice. She ain't deserve that, and I was mad at her at that time because I remember I told you my dad did. I ain't know how to just... Yeah, bro. I ain't like that, because, man,
You say you was mad at your mom, what, because she didn't have anybody to take her? She had to drive herself?
No. I was mad at my mom for my childhood. My dad, at 25, told me I cut my whole family off for 3 years. I was pissed at them, because my dad was a real nigga. Was looking for me my whole life, and I was looking for him, and you got all these random ass in my life. I wanted my dad. And then I got mad at my mom, and then she died, man.
Beasley was there crying his heart out, and the first thing Shannon asks is, so, you were mad at your mom because she didn't have a ride? Like what? And then Beasley also talked about his cousin James, who died the same day Beasley had an NBA game. Beasley wanted to go to the funeral, but he'd already missed so many games when his mom was dying of cancer. So he decided to stay and be there for his team. However, he showed up to that game in the wrong shorts because his head was gone. He was grieving hard, but instead of understanding, his own teammates laughed at him.
And then I didn't know how to say it. I didn't know how to say that. And then I just went out there. I just had the wrong shorts on. They fit the same, so I couldn't feel that shit. Y'all laugh. That day, James died 2 days before, my cousin. And I was supposed to be in a funeral, and I was at shoot-around like, damn, should I get on this flight or just play? But if I get on this flight, they gonna think I'm lying about people dying and I ain't wanna play at all. I ain't wanna play. I was one of my favorite people and shit, and they was just laughing at me. And they was just laughing at me, man. I was hot. I was hot. I hated them niggas, man, because my mom didn't deserve that shit. And then James died in the car, man. The only reason the nigga ain't because the nigga came down the street and they let James die in the car, man. I couldn't be there for him. And y'all laughed at me.
The moment was genuinely heartbreaking to listen to, but Shannon said nothing to comfort Beasley. He simply moved on to the next question, while Beasley was crying his eyes out. And get this, Club Shay later shared that clip on their official X account, but they just pulled out a clickbait quote again with no context or any sympathy for Beasley. They just wrote, LeBron James and Magic Johnson were laughing too, Michael Beasley. So once that clip hit social media, people lost it, and they started dragging Shannon and bringing up all of his personal mess, including that situation with that white OAF model. One post that went viral said, the lack of empathy Shannon showed during that Michael Beasley interview is why I hope those white women continue to drain his pockets with his big country, idiotic acts. I hate a stupid man. You're old AF with no real advice or nothing to look up to, just smashing and being drunk. Another person said, so, the clip of Michael Beasley having that emotional breakdown talking to Shannon Sharpe is a hard watch. It really highlights how Shannon simply does not have the tools or skills to handle a conversation like that. And then someone else wrote, truth. Shannon Sharpe doesn't live in the real world. That's why he got caught up with that snow bunny. Now, let's break down why people are bringing that up. Basically, they think Shannon learned nothing from that whole situation. He had all this money, all this platform, and he let a 19-year-old finesse him out of millions. But then he wants to act like he's some authority and give other men advice. Now, there's a clip from DL on Vlad TV that's going viral, where Vlad asked DL about white women, and DL said straight up that he's never slept with a white woman in his entire life.
I've never had a white mistress.
Never.
Even my mistresses have been black.
Have you ever had sex with a white woman?
No, I haven't. And not because...
Wait, you've never had sex with a white woman?
And
in life?
No.
DL explained that he simply never felt the need to entertain white women, never felt like his value as a black man depended on crossing that line. And now people are comparing this to that clip of Cat Williams on Shannon Sharpe when he said something similar and warned Shannon that snow bunnies would destroy him.
I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not gonna act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
Now think how that lands when you remember what happened to Shannon. A white woman with an OnlyFans took him for millions, and he first settled with her, and then lost his ESPN bag. So DL is looking at that whole situation and saying, I never would have been there because I never needed that validation. Mind you, DL and Shannon have been going at each other for years, but the real heat started after Monique's interview on Club Shay. That's when DL went on his own platform and called out Club Shay directly.
You said that Shannon Sharpe's interview with Cat Williams was predatory and messy, and it doesn't feel this is a fair example of relationships among black comedians.
I don't think so at all. I think that like any other endeavor, there are jealousies, idiosyncrasies, there's all, but I don't think that's indicative of the experiences that most of us have. And I think that after the Cat Williams interview, which was a phenomenon, he kept trying to replicate it.
Oh, I bring another black
Shannon
comedian?
kept trying to replicate it. He kept trying to let me bring on somebody else to have a beef and then do, like, it just got to be, like, I can understand it was a phenomenon, but then all of a sudden you tried to replicate it. It is too messy. Or now I think it's morphed into something else because I think that has kind of, that brook has run dry.
DL said Shannon sits up there like he's your uncle, but really he's just mining black trauma for views. And he even compared Shannon to Wendy Williams, saying Shannon's just Wendy Williams with a weight set.
Even on social media, motherfuckers won't like your to help you. DL Hughley does that for me all the time. If your videos are great, he'll put it on his platform. DL always looks out. Man, likes my Michael Blackson will like my sometimes. Little things here and there.
I guess he ain't put mine up because I'm Wendy Williams with a weight set, so he ain't put nothing
You're
up.
Wendy Williams with a weight set.
Now Wendy Williams is a legend, but let's be real. She made a career off other people's pain. She laughed while people cried. She exploited. And Dell is saying Shannon does the exact same thing, just with a deeper voice and a tighter shirt. Now, as for that white woman angle and Shannon getting set up by an OF model, DL is saying that's not a man who got played. That's a man who was always going to get played. And that lack of awareness in Shannon, that reckless energy, is not new. Remember when Shannon sat down with Cam Newton on Funky Friday and told 2 stories about how he got set up by women?
Come on. So I go back, I go back in her bedroom. So set my stuff down and I'm looking at the door handle, it's turning. I say, homeboy, no, I don't get down like that there. Dude come in, he got that chopper.
No, he don't.
Oh, Lord have mercy. He's about to ask me, am I sharp? I said, yeah. He said, I thought so. I said, my man, this your people? He said, yeah, 2 years. I said, my man, I ain't know. I said, I ain't even know. I said, bro, you know who I am now? I said, man, I'm my bad. I'm at fault. It saved me. Because had I not been, I ain't telling this.
You wouldn't even been able to.
I ain't telling this story. Ken. So I get my stuff. I get on, I said, my man, my bad. So I get in the car, he got me shook. Now, I ain't gonna lie, he had the chopper. We'd had to rumble a little bit.
Right.
But he got the chopper, he the big man. So I get to the car, and I'm like, oh, man. I said, man.
It's gone.
I got a Rollie. No, I got a Rollie, my bracelet, and my necklace. I said, man, stop the car. My homeboy said, man, forget that. I said, man, F that, boy, that's 50 bands in there. Man, I went right back up in there. I said, my man, let me get that on the dresser. He said, here you go. So from that was in 93. I have not closed my eyes at another woman's house in 31 years.
He never closed his eyes in another woman's house again. Really? But he let a white girl set him up at his big age of 55. Shannon lost millions over that scandal. And what did we learn? Nothing, because months later, he was nightcap bragging about another white of model he messed with, Sky Bree.
You know who Sky Bree is, Ocho?
Sky Bree? Who that is, coach?
Yeah. How I do it. How I do
Hey, Sky,
it.
I mean, who is that? Who is that? Help me out.
You know what I'm saying? She little something. You know, she might be famous for vertical activity that she good at.
Oh, she a hooper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Who she play for? Who she play for?
You know, she got her own little thing, you know.
Huh?
Man, y'all. Man, y'all need to stop, man. Y'all need to stop. Y'all be on that bull jive, man.
Hold on. Who she play for? Who she play for?
You know, back in the day, she could have been on my team.
She played for on her back.
And this is who Shannon has always been. Reckless, ignorant, and completely unable to reflect on why his life keeps blowing up. So when people watch him sit across from Michael Beasley, a man crying about his dead mother, and give nothing, they're not surprised. They're just tired because a wise old uncle would have learned by now. But Shannon Sharpe isn't wise. He's just old. But let me know your thoughts on this mess. Is Shannon just ignorant? Or is it even worse than that? Because honestly, some of his comments about these young snow bunnies are getting a little too weird. And how do you feel about Shannon's interview with Michael Beasley? Drop your comments below and stay tuned for the next video.